DC's new line of comics continued this week with the release of Absolute Flash number 5. For those that haven't been keeping up, the Absolute line of comics is set in a brand new universe that was created by the evil new god Darkseid. This universe leans towards misery, where the wicked thrive, the good struggle to keep their heads above water, and our heroes are very different. Take the case of the Flash. There's no Speed Force, he's not one in a long line of speedsters with a vast support network. Here, he's the first ever speedster, lonely teenager Wally West, who grew up moving from state to state because of his father's role in the military. Colonel West is responsible for the mysterious and likely malevolent Project Olympus that seems to be creating superpowered people. One evening, Wally was caught in the energy of an experiment being conducted by Barry Allen that gave him strange new speed-based abilities. Not only can he move very quickly, but he experiences time in a different way to the rest of us. He can relive the past without the ability to change anything and see potential futures. One where he's a beloved hero, another where he's a monster. Wally's response to this was to run away, but in the process he seemed to kill Barry and is ridden with anxiety over it. To make matters worse, he's being pursued by the Rogues, a military unit of powered soldiers. When they fail to stop Wally, they unleash their secret weapon, a small green psychic monkey named Grodd. When Grodd connected to Wally, he saw that they were kindred spirits, and the duo teamed up to evade capture. Wally is now hiding out in the Iron Heights district of Central City, staying at the Dibney shelter for homeless children. At the same time, something lurks beneath the streets in the sewers, a flaming monstrosity called Heatwave, and Grodd wants to do something about it. And that's where this issue picks up, with Wally and Grodd staring down Heatwave. Now, it's interesting to note that Wally doesn't immediately think that Heatwave is a menace. In fact, he feels like he knows him. But when he attempts to make physical contact, there's painful feedback, and it makes Wally feel like he's coming apart. Wally is a very anxious person, and his fears at becoming a monster overwhelm him. He cowers in the sewers, terrified of taking action in case he kills again. But Grodd is there to support him and to remind him that everything is okay. Together, they can save the day. And that's basically the whole premise of this issue. Wally overcoming his fears and anxiety to get on the path to becoming the hero he needs to be. Once again, it's a brisk read, but a reasonable amount happens. Grodd encourages Wally to put on his costume, and in a way it acts as armour, protecting him from his own negative thoughts. This gives him the strength to intervene when Heatwave heads up to the surface and attacks the Dibney shelter out of anger and pain. What I really like about this scene is the way that Wally's costume does absolutely nothing to conceal his identity. Ralph and Linda immediately recognise him, asking him why he's dressed the way he is. All too often, the heroes manage to conceal their identity with, frankly, flimsy costumes. Seriously, how many 6'9", 400-pound people are there running around Gotham? Surely anyone that sees Absolute Batman and knows Bruce Wayne would recognise him. So I enjoy how Wally's costume doesn't hide his identity. And the way he deals with Heatwave is by helping him. The energy that's generated when he tries to touch Heatwave actually takes his powers away from him, returning him to normal. It's not clear if this is a temporary fix or if he has just taken the power away for now. But I'm reminded of a recent development in the mainline comics, where Gorilla Grodd absorbed Dark Omega energy that was left behind by Darkseid when he died, to become even more powerful. There's a crossover happening in October called DCKO, where the heroes will face each other in a tournament to generate Omega energy, and the winner will absorb said energy and challenge Darkseid. I have to wonder if what happened with Wally and Heatwave is a reference to this series. After he drains Heatwave's powers, Wally finds himself in a strange place that looks like outer space. Here, a mysterious voice calls his name, and a large hand reaches out to him. This hand sort of looks like Darkseid's hand, which shaped the Absolute Universe. All of this makes me think that perhaps Wally is more central to the overarching storyline of the Absolute Universe than I had first thought. I suppose that would make sense, since it was originally the Flash that discovered DC's multiverse with the cosmic treadmill. The question is, what does this mysterious hand want with Wally? He's not physically there, his actual body is passed out on the ground in Central City, so perhaps the threat is more metaphorical than literal. Given that it's not his past that he's seeing, I think it's safe to assume that he's looking at his future, or at least one of them. But maybe it's something else entirely. I find myself wondering if Wally's potential futures are actually both true. He does become a beloved hero, but absorbing the energy of these monsters transforms him into some sort of Omega beast. But hey, that's all speculation on my part. In the present day, both Ralph and Linda offer to help Wally. I guess it's the least they could do considering he saved them from Heatwave, but the military turns up in their helicopters, forcing Wally and Grodd to flee. He doesn't know that Grodd has a tracker on him, and I have to assume that Grodd doesn't know either. Meanwhile, back at Fort Fox, the rogues meet with Eleanor Thorne. She confirms that she was the one to give them their abilities and admits that she had misled them a little bit. Heatwave used to be one of them, and she had told them that he didn't survive the process that gave him powers. While they're not happy about being deceived, Thorne promises to let them in on the secret of Project Olympus and its true objective, so long as they're able to capture Wally. Seems like a bit of a cruel tease there. Elsewhere, Colonel West uses the late Barry Allen's keycard to go snooping around Project Olympus and discovers a spaceship, complete with what looks like aliens in stasis. I think we collectively shared Rudy's reaction there. What the hell's going on? So yeah, a lot happens in this issue at a very rapid pace, which is fitting given that it's a series about the fastest person alive, but I think it'd be good if the pace could be slowed down a little to give us some breathing room. And I think we'll get that breathing room in the next issue, which the solicitations say will be a flashback story to the origin of the Rogues and how they joined Project Olympus. Absolute Flash number 5 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in the pinned comment on this video. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I did it again. I ordered a couple of dozen issues of Jack Kirby's Commandy series. Why won't anyone stop me? You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the pinned comment. To those that have read this issue, what did you think? I know I already said this, but I did find it so refreshing how Ralph and Linda immediately recognised Wally. If nobody recognised him, then I probably would have exploded in disbelief. What do you think the secret of Project Olympus is? Over in Absolute Superman, Jimmy Olsen said that it was a terrible thing on the same scale as the Lazarus Corp and their plans to destroy the Earth. I had originally thought it was a project to steal the power of the gods, but given that they've brought aliens into it, now I have absolutely no idea what's going on. DC published their October solicitations earlier this week, and it included Absolute Evil, a one-shot special focusing on the villains of the universe teaming up. Among their number is Dr. Eleanor Thorne, so I guess that removes any ambiguity about her intentions towards Wally, right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time. Given that next week is the 5th week of the month when DC generally doesn't publish much, there are no Absolute comics out. So I will be back in the first week of August to talk about Absolute Wonder Woman 10 and Absolute Martian Manhunter 5. Absolute Wonder Woman picks up where the last issue left off, with Diana and Ferdinand coming face to face with the nefarious Queen Clea in the maze beneath Area 41. And in Absolute Martian Manhunter 5, we'll see the culmination of the White Martians' plan to fling the city into darkness. What kinds of beastly acts will we see people commit in the darkness? Oh, I shudder to think. Hope to see you then.